Greetings and welcome to Fort Worth, Texas on a very cold and rainy afternoon. We're here at the local art gallery called Fort Works Art Gallery. Today we are going to go inside and we are going to see a collection from Kyle Steed and Lisa Chronickfield called No Filter. So the outside of the art gallery actually is very kind of welcoming, and they have a work of art that's out here that kind of leads you into what it seems to be kind of like a tunnel, kind of representing maybe the opportunity for you to kind of get lost in this tunnel, maybe lost in the work of art that are to come inside. So without further ado, let's go inside and see what they have to offer. So as we come inside to see the actual exhibit, we can see that there is a opening here in which they have kind of like a frame almost. It is very warm and welcoming, almost kind of looking like a window panel, maybe to be able to kind of, as you come in, see, maybe representing to see the works for as they are from there, giving you an opportunity to see it from like maybe an outsider looking in, something of that nature. As you can see, they have the exhibits posted in which you can kind of see the various works of art from there. So as I go around, I will kind of give a detail of as many of the various paintings that we can and some information about them as well. So this is No Filter by Kyle Steed and Lisa Chronickfield. So the very first, we have the exhibition here, and the very first painting you see that you come across is a painting that they have done to where you can kind of see the brush strokes in very gentle manners out there. As you get in a little bit closer, you can see that some of them are short strokes, variations of different colors, different shades, but overall very welcoming to the entrance of their collection. This is a work of art by Kyle Steed, and he gives a brief description about how this painting came about, talking about more about his childhood and how he can never get these shapes out of his head. This allows him to be able to really get kind of the playful spirit on this work of art on this canvas. As you come through, you see the very lifelike paintings, very realistic paintings, some of them from Lisa Chronickfield, and another variation of lifelike paintings from here. Same thing from Lisa Chronickfield. Various types of colors used. As you can see, variation of her shirt has the very types of replica of birds that are out there, and very use of different watercolors to elaborate on those. As we go back to the other one, same thing, you can see the different colors and the watercolors that are used. As you zoom in, you can see where they go about and kind of mix in with the white and the dark from there to create the image of a young lady. And this one is titled Anywhere But Here. It is acrylic paint being used. As you can tell, it almost looks kind of much like a city almost, in which very busy work. You can see the variations of different colors, very light colors mixed with some very dark colors that are out there to create the image of maybe looking up from a high point up at a city. And up in the upper section, there's more various paintings that are from Kyle Steed. From the looks of it, he uses a lot of acrylic paints in more of a fashion that allows them that more of an unrealistic style fashion to kind of make the viewer, the audience, try to picture what he's trying to put out. Now some of the other ones are more realistic in their more naturalistic in their way of finding things. So as you can tell, Lisa ends up using a lot of this Chinese ink in most of her backgrounds or on the person's clothing, whereas the watercolors are used to create the actual person. So as you can tell, there's very fine details. This one appears to be of an African American woman, and you can tell where the watercolor that she used creates the braids that are out there. So very interesting to know. Same thing in this one. This one is titled Yellow Buttons. And you can tell where the watercolors come in to blend in and give it a variation style. But as I mentioned before, a lot of the clothing that she creates on her people, or the backgrounds, not necessarily the white backgrounds, have that sort of Chinese ink that's out there. As you can tell with the brush strokes, even the ones that are natural color, you can see where that Chinese ink per se is used to create that image of clothing. Now we have two paintings here from Kyle Steed that kind of go hand in hand with each other from what it looks like. A lot of them have the same brush strokes. A lot of them have the same type of coloring that, as you can see on the left, he uses more on the picture in the right. The left background, should I say, is used more in the picture on the right. And then the right, or the left, has more of the background used in it for the main picture. Now the one on the left is titled It Still Feels Strange to Say Goodbye. And the one on the right is titled No Stranger to Goodbye. So they kind of look similar in regards to what the actual meaning is behind them. So these might be paintings that actually kind of go hand in hand with each other. Maybe signifying that they're used to what happens in their life and things of that sort. So as you can tell, they have a whole gallery that is set up out here for the works of these two artists. And there are different paintings from there, ranging in various prices, and seems to be that the artists use the same kind of style in most of their paintings that they've done, whereas Lisa will use the watercolors and Kyle will use more of the acrylic-based paints to create their works of art. As we can tell, as you go through, it looks like Lisa is more of a naturalistic type person. She likes to create things that are more people-based, whereas Kyle will tend to create more of shapes and lines and images to have the viewer or the audience be able to actually kind of create an image in their mind, when in actuality there might not be nothing there. So I have officially left the exhibition that is out there and the works of art from there. It looked like Kyle had a lot of good works of art in which he used, as I mentioned before in some of the other paintings, he used the acrylic based painting. Most of the time it was on canvas, and his, like I had mentioned before, most of his brush strokes were out there. They ranged from short to medium to even long at times, but they were more of an opportunity for you to kind of see something that maybe wasn't there, for the audience to actually be able to use their imagination in regards to creating an image of some sort out there. He did use a lot of more vibrant colors that were out there. He didn't use a lot of dark colors. If he did use dark colors, it was more on the line to create more of a background per se than anything else. Now Lisa, on the other hand, just as I had mentioned in some of the other portions of it, she was more of the naturalistic person, to where she created a lot of paintings for the humans, gave it more of a human feel. One thing that I did notice was that she used a lot of that Chinese Chinese paint and the different types of Chinese art that were out there. As I mentioned before, she had used them more on the clothing and the backgrounds to kind of give it more of a, to me it looked like it was more of a realistic form, to say that it was like that's what their clothing was, or that's what their their shade of background or whatever the case may be. So she actually used that more in line to kind of differentiate from the person, vice the clothing from there. Now, all of her people that she had created, all of the people that she had made was basically through watercolors. And as I had mentioned, she did a lot of various shades, various different colors, in which she used white to kind of neutralize the dark colors to create the image. Just like I had mentioned about the African American girl, she was able to actually brush in the image of braids or something of that nature, to create that more naturalistic view out there. So overall, I think the exhibition was really good. I think that they used a lot of good variations of color, variations of different brush strokes, and a lot of good imagery for you to be able to kind of see. The one thing, as I mentioned, that Chinese art style I had never really seen, but now that I look back on it, maybe I'd seen it more in just like it had mentioned, in the Chinese art style from there. So the exhibition was good. I actually enjoyed being able to come out here and see it. Prior to this, I had no idea that Fort Works Art Gallery actually existed. So having the opportunity to experience something new and insightful out there was actually really interesting for us to be able to do. Hopefully they have some more exhibitions that'll come about, and next time I'm on this side of town, well, I might end up being able to stop by and see another exhibition from there. So thank you for your time. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and we will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.